Smoke rose with the morning sun. The cabin was in ruins, broken walls, burned wood, and in the middle of it all stood one man, bloody tired, barely breathing. Jack thought he was surrounded by alien enforcers. His gun was empty. His knees were shaking. But his eyes still burned like fire. "You think you've won?" he said, voice raw. One of the soldiers stepped forward. "You're alone. The child is ours now." Jack smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that came before lightning struck. "I may be alone," he whispered, "but the promise I made, that still stands." 12 hours earlier underground, the alien mother ran through the tunnel, baby in her arms. Her tears mixed with sweat as she stumbled forward, chest tight. She didn't want to leave Jack, but she knew what he told her was right. "You run. I'll buy you time." Now deep in the forest, she reached a signal post in old human tech. Tower. Jack had told her how to activate it. She placed the baby gently on the ground and pressed the beacon. Beep, beep, signal sent. She waited. No sound. Then, the baby cried, this time not in fear, but in power. His glow returned, stronger, brighter. Unstoppable. And in the sky above a ship appeared. Back to now, the enforcers raised their weapons. Last chance. Human, the leader growled. Jack stood tall, fists clenched. Then a roar broke the sky. Engines. Human engines. The rescue ship returned with more ships behind it. Dozens. And they weren't just here to talk. They were ready to fight. Explosions rained down on the field. The enforcers scattered. Jack dove for cover, grinning through pain. "They made it," he whispered. She made it. From above, soldiers dropped in, surrounding the enemy, and in the center of the chaos, a door opened. She stepped out. The alien mother. Alive. Safe. And in her arms the baby, glowing now like a tiny star. The battle paused. Even the enemy stared. Because for the first time, they understood. This child wasn't a mistake. He was a bridge. The alien leader stepped forward. "This child is forbidden." Jack, now standing beside the mother, wiped blood from his lip. "He's not forbidden. He's the future." The baby reached a tiny hand toward the alien soldier, and something impossible happened. The soldier stepped back. Shaking. Not in fear, but in emotion. He lowered his weapon, and so did another. And another. Until only silence remained. Later that evening, the fire burned gently under the stars. Jack sat on a crate, bandaged, tired, but finally at peace. The alien mother placed the baby in his arms. "He's been waiting for you." Jack looked down. The baby smiled. No glowing. No crying. Just peace. Jack whispered, "You don't know it yet, but you've already changed everything." She sat beside him, voice soft. "Why did you do it, Jack? Why did you risk everything?" "For us?" He looked at her. Then looked at the child, and he answered, "Because no one else would, and because I made a promise." He kissed the baby's head. And for the first time, the stars above felt a little closer. The human rescue ship smelled like metal and medicine. Bright lights, cold air, soldiers with emotionless faces. Jack sat on the bench inside, his hands shaking just a little. Across from him, the alien mother lay on a stretcher. Her eyes were closed, but she was breathing. Stable now, the baby was in his arms, quiet. Watching, not crying. Just watching. The ship lifted off the ground and vanished into the clouds. For the first time in days, Jack exhaled. Safe. Or so he thought. 20 minutes later, they landed at a hidden human base built under a mountain, far from the cities, far from politics. A female officer greeted them. She looked sharp, focused, and suspicious. "We received your emergency signal," she said. "Your report says you were attacked by alien enforcers?" "Yes," Jack answered. "They wanted the child." The officer's eyes moved to the baby. Jack stepped slightly in front of it. She raised one eyebrow. "Relax, soldier. We just want to understand. But Jack didn't relax. Something about the base felt off. Too quiet. Too perfect. The alien mother was taken to the medical wing. Jack was ordered to rest in the guest quarters. He didn't. He walked the halls, observed the people, watched how the guards stood near the doors, not outside them, but facing in, like they were guarding something from escaping. Later that night, he saw it. 2 soldiers standing by a locked room, whispering. "She's not even human," one said. "Why protect her?" "She's got tech in her blood," the other replied. "That baby, he's the real prize." Jack's stomach dropped. Prize? Back in the medical wing, Jack found her room emptied. The bed cold, the blanket gone. Panic stabbed through him. He rushed down the hall, baby in his arms, searching. Then he found her. In a lab, surrounded by doctors, hooked to machines. Eyes closed. "She's not a lab rat," Jack yelled, pushing in. The lead doctor turned calm. "She's fine. Just studying her DNA. Standard for alien contact. You didn't ask." "We don't need to. She's not human." "She's a mother," Jack said sharply. "And that's her child." "Half child," the doctor replied coldly. Jack's fists tightened. He left the lab, heart racing, the baby still silent but watching, always watching. That night, Jack made a decision. He didn't trust this place. He didn't trust these people. They said they had rescued them, but it felt more like capture. He went to the control room, used an old ID code from his soldier days. The system let him in. He searched for transport ships. Found one. Dock 4, hidden below the mountain. He memorized the path. Then he checked the security logs. What he saw made his blood freeze. Message sent to Alien Council. Child located. Prepare. Collection. They had betrayed them. The humans were going to hand the baby over to avoid war. Jack ran. He grabbed supplies, stole a keycard, and returned to the medical lab. The alien mother was awake, now barely. Her voice was dry. "They lied." "I know," Jack said. "We're leaving." He placed the baby gently in her arms. "We've got one chance." She smiled weakly. "You always say that," he grinned. "Because it's always true." Through silent halls they moved like shadows. Guards passed. Cameras turned. Jack timed every step. They reached Dock 4. The ship was small but fast. He opened the ramp, then heard a voice. "Going somewhere, soldier?" The officer from before stepped into view, gun in hand. "I thought you were smarter than this." Jack raised his hand slowly. "Don't do this. The child's power is a weapon," she said. "In the wrong hands or the right heart," Jack interrupted. "He doesn't belong to any government." The baby let out a soft cry. Lights around the dock flickered. The ship's engine hummed to life. On its own, the officer's gun shook. "What is this thing?" Jack stepped forward. "Hope." He moved faster than she expected, grabbed her wrist, twisted. The gun fell. She fell. He helped the alien mother aboard. Locked the doors, the ship lifted off, and the mountain behind them began to shake, the baby glowing softly in her arms. They had escaped. But now the whole galaxy would be watching. Asterisk rain fell like quiet glass. The small ship glided through the clouds and landed on a hidden planet, green, silent, untouched by war. They called it Hollow Eden, a human farming outpost. No soldiers, no labs, just peace. Jack stepped out first, eyes scanning the thick trees. Birds chirped. A breeze passed. It felt calm. Too calm. The alien mother stepped out behind him, holding the baby close. Her wounds were healing. The baby was asleep. "This place is beautiful," she whispered. Jack nodded slowly. "Let's hope it stays that way." A farmer named Reed welcomed them. He was kind. Older, his voice rough but warm. He offered them food, water, and a quiet cabin on the edge of his fields. "No one will bother you here," Reed said. "We mind our own business." Jack thanked him, but his hand stayed close to his weapon. He didn't trust Isley anymore. Still, for 3 days, nothing went wrong. They ate fresh food. They slept in soft beds. The baby laughed for the first time. It almost felt like home. But good things, Jack knew, never lasted long. It began with a sickness. The baby stopped eating. Then started shaking. His skin glowed, too bright, like a fire burning under his skin. The alien mother held him tight, crying. "He's in pain. Something's wrong." Jack ran to Reed's farmhouse. The old man gave him a small vial. "Herbs," he said. "It helps our kind. Might help yours." Jack took it without thinking. They gave the baby 2 drops. At first, he calmed. Then his glow faded. Then he went still, not asleep, not awake. Frozen. Jack S heart dropped. He ran back to Reed. Stormed into his house. "What did you give him?" Reed stood calmly by the fire. "Something to slow his power." He was drawing attention. "What are you talking about?" Reed turned, eyes cold now. "You think you're the only ones hiding here?" Jack's blood went cold. "You're one of them." Reed smiled slightly. "Not one of them, but I helped them, for peace." Jack backed away. Reed reached under the table, pulled out a small alien beacon, already blinking. "They'll be here by morning." Jack ran. The baby was still glowing faintly but weak. "Too weak." The alien mother looked at Jack, fear rising in her voice. "They know we're here?" He nodded. "We were betrayed again. We need to run." She shook her head. "He can't travel like this. He'll die." Jack thought fast. "If we can't run, we fight." They moved the baby to the cellar below the cabin, wrapped in warm cloth, safe and quiet. Then Jack set traps. Old tricks from his soldier days, laser wires, smoke bombs, MP charges. This time they wouldn't be easy prey. That night, the stars vanished behind thick clouds, and from above, a ship descended. No lights, no sound, just death, coming fast. They landed in the fields. Tall shadows stepped out. Silent, precise, searching. One of them held a scanner. "His power is weak. He's close." Jack watched from behind a tree. He waited. When the lead soldier reached the cellar door, boom. The trap exploded. EMP shockwave burned their scanner out. The enemy staggered. Jack fired. Bang! Bang! 2 fell, but more came. Too many. He ran back inside, grabbed the mother and baby. "They're coming." She nodded, her eyes full of tears. "We can't win this." Jack looked down at the baby, glowing again. Just a little. And then, he smiled. "Maybe we don't have to." He placed the baby in her arms, leaned in close, and whispered a plan. She gasped. "It's too risky." Jack looked at her. "It's the only way." As the enemies broke down the door, Jack stood alone, gun in hand, behind him. The mother and child were gone through a tunnel he dug hours ago. He fired the first shot, and the night lit up with war. The house was too quiet, not peaceful, dangerous quiet. The kind that made your skin crawl. Jack sat in the dark, holding his gun. The alien baby was asleep now, wrapped tight and warm. But its eyes had glowed. White, unnatural, powerful. Outside, the forest made no sound. No birds. No wind. Even the stars seemed to hold their breath. And then boom. Boom, boom. A fist pounded the front door. Jack jumped up, gun raised. 3 knocks. Slow. Heavy. He didn't move. Didn't breathe. Then a voice came, calm, cold, not human. "Give her to us." Jack stepped back. "Who are you?" No answer, just silence. Then the door shook like something large had slammed into it. The alien woman on the couch woke with a cry. Her eyes wild. "No, not them. Please don't open it." Jack ran to her. "Who are they?" She grabbed his shirt with shaking hands. "My people. My own kind. They want to kill me and take the baby." "Why?" Jack asked, confused. She looked away. "Because he's not fully ours." Jack blinked. "You mean The baby's half human? She nodded slowly. Jack felt the ground shift under his feet. But how? He asked, voice low. There was a human years ago. A peace worker. I loved him. But relationships between our kinds were forbidden. When I became pregnant, they called it a crime. They said the child was dangerous. Outside, something growled. Then, metal claws scratched across the door. Jack grabbed his pack and looked her in the eyes. We need to leave, now. She nodded, trying to stand, but her legs still wouldn't move. He helped her up and wrapped her arm around his shoulder. She was tall, almost too tall for him to carry, but he didn't care. He grabbed the baby with his free arm, and together, they moved to the back of the house. The back exit opened into the trees. Jack had built the path years ago in case of emergency. Tonight, it was their only hope that they moved quietly, each step fast but careful. Behind them, the front door of the house exploded with a loud crash. They didn't look back. The baby stayed. Silent, as if it understood. The woman whispered in Jack's ear, "We have to reach the old outpost. There's a transport signal beacon there. Where is it?" He asked. 2 miles east, by the dead river. Jack nodded. They moved through the forest, cold air pressing against their faces. Every few minutes, Jack would glance behind. Saw nothing, but he felt them. Watching. Tracking. Then came the first attack. Flash of metal jumped from the trees, aiming straight for the woman. Jack dropped to the ground, rolled, and fired. Bang! The attacker screamed and disappeared into the shadows, hit but not dead. Jack pulled her up again. They're not just hunters. They're trained. Yes, she said. Elite enforcers. Sent to erase proof of what I did. Jack's chest tightened. And I'm part of it now. She looked at him. You didn't have to help me. But you did. That means something. He didn't reply. He couldn't. Not while something was hunting them like animals. Finally they reached the dead river. Black water barely moved. The old outpost stood across the shore, small, broken, forgotten. They climbed the rocks and entered. Inside, dust covered everything. Rusted walls, cracked glass. Dead silence. Jack set the woman down and placed the baby beside her. Where's the signal beacon? She pointed. In that panel. Behind the map screen. Jack ran to it, pulled off the cover, and pressed the buttons. The screen flickered. Error. Power low. He cursed. I need 5 more seconds. But there was no time. From the trees, they came. Tall shadows, sharp weapons, glowing eyes, and at the center, female alien in black armor, her face cold and cruel. The woman on the floor gasped. My sister. Jack aimed his gun. The armored woman smiled. You should not have trusted a human, she said. Now you both die. The outpost was falling apart. The dust danced in the air like ghosts. The power light blinked weakly on the beacon screen. Jack's finger hovered over the last button, the one that would call for help. But he didn't press it. Not yet. He was staring into the eyes of a killer, the armored alien. Woman, the sister, stood just inside the doorway, her soldiers behind her. Their weapons hummed, sharp and deadly. I only want the child, she said. Softly. Give him to me, and you can leave. Jack didn't answer. Behind him, the alien mother, her face pale, her breath shallow, held the baby close. She didn't say a word, but the baby did. A sharp, sudden cry. It echoed through the room. It echoed through everyone's chest. And in that moment something changed. The lights in the room flickered again. But this time it wasn't from broken wires. It was from the baby, the child's. Skin shimmered like water. For a second, it looked like stars moved under its skin. Jack blinked. What is he? The armored sister smiled bitterly. He's what should never exist. A mix of 2 races, 2 powers, 1 forbidden soul. She raised her weapon. That child's cry can awaken technology. Even old systems, it can break barriers. That's why we fear him. Jack turned his head slowly toward the mother. Is that true? She nodded. He's special, but only if he lives. The soldier stepped forward. Jack had seconds to decide. Took a deep breath, turned back to the screen, and slammed the beacon's final button. A red light blinked. Signal sent. Outside, a tower lit up. A faint pulse fired into the sky. Too late for stealth. Too early for help. Now. They had to survive until someone answered. The first blast came without warning. A soldier fired at Jack. He dove to the side gun and hand returned fire. Bang! Bang! One attacker fell. Another moved in. Sparks flew. Glass shattered. Jack screamed, "Stay down." He rolled across the floor, protecting the baby and mother with his body. The sister entered fully now. Calm, elegant, cruel. "Foolish human," she said. "You protect them like they're your own." Jack looked up, breathing hard. "They are now." She raised her weapon, but before she could fire, the baby cried again. This time, louder. Stronger. Windows exploded. Lights surged, the entire building. Shook. Jack covered his ears. The enemy soldiers screamed in pain, their weapons short-circuited. Some collapsed. The sister dropped her weapon, shocked. What is this power? The alien mother was also surprised. He's never done this before. Jack stood up slowly, amazed. He's protecting us. But the child wasn't finished. A wave of invisible energy blasted through the room. Every screen lit up. The beacon's red light turned white. And above the outpost, a small ship broke through the clouds. A human transport. Help had arrived. The sister snarled. "You called them? You called humans?" Jack smiled. Too late to stop it now. She stepped back into the shadows, wounded pride in her voice. "This isn't over. That child will bring war. Remember that." Then she vanished into the trees, her soldiers retreating with her. Inside the outpost, the silence was deafening. The alien mother cried softly. Holding the baby, Jack collapsed beside them, exhausted. Outside, the human rescue ship hovered, lights scanning the area. Doors opened. Soldiers dropped down. One of them walked toward Jack. "Are you the one who sent the beacon?" Jack nodded. "I need medical help, for both of them." The soldier looked confused. "But she's not human." Jack looked him straight in the eyes. "She is now." Jack lived alone in a small house on the edge of the forest. The house was old but strong, built by human hands long ago when the first colonists came to this alien planet. The sky above was full of stars, quiet and cold. It was midnight. The wind outside howled softly, carrying the distant sound of forest creatures. Jack sat inside, sipping warm tea and reading an old digital book. Life was slow here, peaceful. He liked it that way, but tonight something was different. Knock, knock. Jack froze. Someone knocked on the door. He looked at the time. 0:03. No one ever came to his house at this hour. He stood slowly, setting his tea aside. The knock had been soft, like a whisper, but clear. He walked to the door and opened it carefully. No one was there, only the cold wind and dark trees. Looked down. His eyes widened. There on the ground was a small bundle, wrapped in silver cloth, slightly glowing under the moonlight. It moved. A soft sound came from it. A baby's cry. "What the hell?" Jack whispered, kneeling down. He gently pulled the cloth aside. A small alien baby looked up at him with wide, purple eyes. Its skin was pale blue, and tiny antennas trembled on its head. The baby cried weakly, cold and hungry. Jack's heart raced. "Who left you here?" he asked softly. He looked around, but the forest was silent. No footsteps. No voices. Only the wind. He picked up the baby, holding it close to his chest. It was light. Too light. He could feel its ribs. The baby hadn't eaten in a long time. Then he noticed something else. A thin trail of blood. Dark purple drops marked the steps away from his porch into the woods. Jack's breath caught in his throat. Someone had been here. Someone injured. Maybe the baby's mother? He looked down at the child. It stared back at him, as if asking for help. "I can't just leave you here," he said, stepping back inside. He laid the baby on a soft blanket near the fire, wrapped it tightly, and gave it a few drops of water from a clean tube. Then he grabbed his flashlight, put on his jacket, and walked out the door. The forest was dark and quiet. Jack followed the blood trail carefully, light shaking slightly in his hand. The trees here were tall and strange, glowing faintly in the dark. Alien birds flew overhead, watching him. He walked for 5 minutes. Then he saw her. A female alien collapsed near a tree, barely breathing. Her skin was the same pale blue as the baby's. Her long arms were covered in cuts. She had no shoes. One of her legs was bent unnaturally. Jack rushed forward. "Hey, are you alive?" Her eyes opened slowly. They were glowing faintly. She looked at him, confused, then afraid. Jack raised his hands. "It's okay. I'm human. I'm not going to hurt you." She tried to speak but coughed. Blood came out of her mouth. She gripped his arm suddenly, strong even in her weak state. She whispered one word: "Protect." Then she passed out. Jack stared at her, heart pounding. He looked back toward his house. Something was very wrong. He carried her carefully, step by step, back to his home. It wasn't easy. She was taller than him, heavier. But somehow, he managed it. When he reached the house, he placed her gently on the couch and covered her with a warm blanket. Her breathing was shallow. He checked the baby, still asleep. Still safe. He sat down beside the fire, mind racing. Who was she? Why did she come here? And why did she leave her baby at his door? The last word she had spoken echoed in his mind. Protect. Protect from what? Suddenly, he heard a soft buzz outside. He turned off the lights and looked through the window. A small alien drone flew past the trees. It hovered near his house for a second, scanning. Then it flew away. Jack's blood turned cold. They were looking for someone. Maybe for her. Maybe for the baby. He locked the door and shut all windows. Whatever this was, he was now part of it. He looked down at the baby again. It had fallen asleep, holding Jack's finger tightly. Jack whispered to himself, "I don't know what's going on, but I won't let anything happen to you, I promise." The stars outside twinkled in silence, and so began something that would change his life forever. Jack's dreams were not peaceful that night. He saw fire in the forest. He saw creatures with glowing red eyes. And in the middle of it all, the alien baby was crying. He woke up suddenly sweating, heart racing. But it wasn't a dream anymore. The baby was crying, a soft, frightened sound, like it could feel something coming. Jack sat up and checked the front door. Still locked. He moved to the baby. "It's okay. You're safe." But then, he heard something. Not from inside. From outside. Crunch, crunch. Slow footsteps. Moving through the woods. Someone or something was walking around his house. Jack's spine turned cold. He grabbed his flashlight and carefully opened the window just a little. He didn't turn the light on yet. His eyes scanned the dark forest. Nothing moved, but he could feel it. He could feel eyes watching the house. Suddenly, the flashlight in his hand flickered without being turned on. "What the?" he whispered. Something nearby was interfering with the electronics. Jack stepped back and looked at the couch. The alien mother still lay unconscious. Her skin looked pale. Her breathing was worse. He had to act. She needed help, but the forest was dangerous now. He could feel it, still. He had to know what was out there. He stepped out quietly, gun at his side, flashlight in the other. The baby's crying faded behind him as he walked into the trees. The air was thick. Too thick. Like something alive was hiding in the fog. Trees whispered in a language he didn't understand. Crunch. The sound again. Ahead now. He turned the light on. Nothing. Then dash movement to his left. He turned sharply. Light caught a flash of something, a long tail disappearing behind a tree. He ran toward it and stopped. He had found more blood. Not a trail this time. A circle like someone had stood there, bleeding. And just next to it, footprints. 3-toed. Long, not human. Not hers either. Jack crouched, inspecting them. But then he heard a voice, very faint. Help. He spun around. Heart. Thudding. There, half hidden behind roots and leaves, a shape. He rushed forward and pushed aside the vines. The alien mother was lying there, again. But how? He had left her inside the house. Her eyes opened slowly. I ran, she whispered weakly. No, that's not possible, Jack said. You were injured. You couldn't even walk. She tried to lift her arm, but it shook too much. Then she whispered again. They're coming. Took my sister. Took her baby too. Jack leaned in. Who's coming? She grabbed his hand tight. Not soldiers. Not from my world. Worse. They smell babies. Special babies like mine. Jack's heart dropped. You're saying something is hunting your child? She nodded, tears in her eyes. They can smell fear and blood. Jack looked over his shoulder. The forest had gone silent again. Too silent. Then a low growl came from behind the trees. He turned, saw a shape tall, thin, glowing eyes. It stepped back into the shadows before he could raise his gun. Jack picked her up quickly. We have to go, now. He ran. Branches whipped against his face. His boots pounded the soft earth. The house came into view. The baby's crying had returned louder than before. As Jack reached the door, the lights inside flickered. The power was failing. Something was near. He shut the door behind him and locked it tight. The alien woman passed out in his arms. Again, Jack placed her gently on the couch and turned toward the baby. But what he saw next made his breath stop. The baby's eyes were glowing. Not purple. White. The baby stared at the window, and outside the window, two glowing red dots stared back. Eyes. Watching. Waiting.